I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, thank you for bringing us all together tonight. Please watch over us and provide guidance and allow us to make the best decisions possible for the community that we serve. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Roll call.
Davis.
Here.
Atkinson.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Meadows.
Here.
Coward.
Here.
Harville.
Here.
Gilbert.
Here.
Venable.
Here. Hearing of citizen comments. Anybody like to get up and say something? Seeing none, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes of the May 1, 2023 council meeting. Any changes, corrections? Okay, then they'll stand as submitted. There are no consent items. Presentation of accounts and claims. That's on page 6.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on May 15, 2023, the sum of $495,399.19. General fund, $151,448.59. Sanitation, $24,052.43. CIP tax, $53,576.80. Waterworks, $32,944.04. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $46,931.24. Tourism, $9,777.29. Gaming, $175,216.40. Parks and Water, $1,452.40. Timber sales tax, $0.00. Economic Development Projects, $0.00. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $495,399.19, being the total amount of money being appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on May 15, 2023. Read for the second time this May 15, 2023, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve these accounts and claims.
Thank you, Susan. Second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Roll call.
Davis.
Yes.
Atkinson.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
Coward.
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Venable.
Yes.
There's no unfinished business. New business. Item A, event permit discussion. Katie? It's on pages 8, 9.
Kate had included a memo there kind of discussing what we have prepared for you on the next 2 pages. This is something we've been kind of working on previously and kind of put to the side as we worked on the community calendar, thinking some of those, reasons why we wanted to do an event permit for the city would be addressed through the community calendar. But I think since then, there still is a need for an event permit. We have gone through and looked at several communities, not just in Missouri, but nationally, of what they do, how they present community events, how those are permitted. Part of the need for this too is just to make things easier on all our different departments so that, Parks knows what is requested of them, with all departments, if there's street closures or if they need water hookups or any, if there's animals involved, if there's fireworks involved, if there's anything that we try to cover all the basis in the application form so that when anybody wants to do an event in the city limits, that we should hopefully have all those things addressed in that so that it can go out to all the appropriate department heads to understand what is involved in that. Also help them understand too, like if there's street closures, what the timing is on that, what's expected of them when they are planning an event as well. We did present this to a couple different event planners to kind of look over and see if there was anything that they thought might be missing or be important to add. So it's been revised a little bit before it's been presented to you guys here today.
Questions?
Vendor license fee, has that changed? I thought it was 25.
So it's, the way we have done it for the last several years is that they have to get, all vendors have to get a city business license, which is $25. But then whatever group that is putting on the event, they also charge a vendor fee on top of that. So if I am a one-time event and I just, hardly do anything to, even file taxes, that's a lot for them. I mean, it's a lot of hoops that they have to go through. And so we've had people that have expressed like, I don't even want to bother with this. This is too much. This is becoming too much of a hassle. So this would basically put the vendor fee onto the event coordinator or the people that are putting on the event, and then they can pass that fee on to the vendor, but the vendor will only have to pay one fee. So they can kind of lump what they owe the city for the vendor fee along with whatever they are charging for a vendor fee. So if it's, breaks down to $5 per vendor, plus they charge a $25 vendor fee, they just charge $30 to the people, and then that's all they have to deal with. So try to simplify the process on the vendor and make things easier, and try to make it more attractive for people to do vending at different events in town. Try to create a little less hassle, I guess.
Do we have a general idea? Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I also just want to add that administratively on our end, there's a difficulty. So by state statute, one of the questions on your business license application, if you fill it out, is if you are current with your state sales tax and what you've had to remit to the state. And that is oftentimes what keeps people from being able to get a business license. So like in theory, we shouldn't issue a business license, but they're bringing it the day before the festival, so we're trying to rush it. And then we shouldn't issue it because the state says we can't issue the business license if there's not a no tax due statement from the state regarding sales tax. And within the system, in order to get that no tax due statement, it's like if you have a surplus, like if you've overpaid, they won't give you the certificate online. You have to call them. If you owe a penny, they'll tell you. If you're on a payment plan, you won't get the no tax due. So unfortunately for many businesses, it's not as easy as just typing in your sales tax ID and getting it printed off. If you're in any other category than zero, you won't get the letter. And so that's proved very challenging for us in terms of, do we issue the business license because we want them to come, we want them to vend, but technically they shouldn't have it. So sometimes we put a temporary on it, but it's just a pretty cumbersome process also on our part, just for these one-time vendors.
I guess that leads my question. Are we still going to charge a business license then? So we are repealing.
This would eliminate that.
We are eliminating that.
Yeah.
So if I was a vendor today, if say Heritage Days or whatever, I would pay $50 as a vendor license fee, but also a business license $25 fee. After this goes into effect, we would only be spending $50. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it.
So do we think they're spending around $75 now to be a vendor? What is our?
Each event is different on what they charge to the vendor. Right. And a lot of like food vendors that typically, are used to going around to several places, it's not a deal for them. But if they're just a small time craft vendor that just maybe do one or two events locally, it is a much more difficult process for them.
And then one other thing is, why have the sliding scale? Why have the fee go up as you increase vendors?
Just what we saw in other places, they seem to have a sliding scale, so we took it, but you don't have to. You could just put a per vendor price. If it was $5 per vendor, I think it was just kind of what we saw, so we mimicked what other cities
guess-
would be doing.
What little I know about this, I would recommend just going with the flat fee. I don't quite understand the sliding scale aspect. But I want to make sure we're not upping it. I don't want it to make it harder for vendors to come to our
Well,
events.
and at the time that they put in the application, they may not know how many vendors they're going to have.
Well, and reporting the number of vendors
yeah.
is reasonable, but I don't think charging more because you have a larger event. I don't know if I agree with
Part
that.
of that was because the other thing, and this is going back probably a good 7 or 8 years. If you are a vendor, in theory, if you are a food vendor and today you're in Boonville and tomorrow you're in Marshall, there's a form, it's called Form 5060, and you're supposed to relate where you are to the state for each event when you remit your sales tax. I cannot tell you that people do that. I think most people just, if you live in Boonville, all your sales tax goes to Boonville. So part of this was an attempt to kind of capture whatever sales tax technically we should be collecting, but we're probably not getting because all your sales tax remits to Boonville. And that was actually how the business license, one of the prime reasons why we put the business license in place as well.
Just for documentation on who was here and what they were doing, right?
I got a clarification question, because I think we're misunderstanding. So if there's this event, if they have 1 to 15 vendors, then the event pays $50, and however they decide to charge the vendors, they can?
Correct.
Well, they only have to charge them if they don't.
No, they could just eat it.
So it's not per vendor.
Okay.
And then, so if they have 26, then that group pays $125.
So this is the fee to the organization that's putting on the
Yeah, the
program.
event
Whether they
organizer.
want to pass it on, they can, or not,
Correct.
they don't have to.
Okay, thanks. That helps me clarify that. Okay.
Anybody else? Do we need to take any action?
I still don't know about the sliding scale, though. Even though it's a bigger event, we would want to invite more people, though. Even though I know we're charging it not to the individuals, we're charging it to the event planner, we would still, I don't know. I still don't like a sliding scale, $50 per vendor. Can we do that, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other way you look at it is it's also a way to sort of recoup the money that we as a city spend in order to support these events. I mean, we've looked at Heritage Days, our streets crews and our parks crews essentially work for a whole week to set up this event, put out trash cans, they work overtime, they take the trash cans back in, we pick up all the barricades. We don't really receive any money, or we don't get reimbursed for those efforts. So I guess our common thought is the bigger you are, the more work we have to do to set you up.
For Heritage Days, how many vendors would that be normally, you think?
I didn't think last year they had,
We had 20.
So $75.
And a peddler's jamboree is probably similar amount of vendors.
I don't know that it's been a long time probably since we've had a big event like 26, honestly, but.
I guess as long as we're maintaining a cheap fee, I guess that's my main concern. I don't want to just say, because, hey, we have a permit, or we have a big activity going on, let's now start charging for people to use the city. The point is to get people here and have a good time. So whatever we're doing, is just make sure we're keeping the cost low, would be my main concern.
Okay,
So I guess from our side, like I noted, if you guys are sort of interested in pursuing this approach and moving past what we have currently been doing, there'll probably be several ordinances that will come into effect, and then we'll have to fix the business license stuff to note that you don't have to have a business license if you're coming for event. So there'll just be several ordinances related to this event permit application. So if this seems to be something that this council wants to go in the general direction of, then we'll begin to work on those.
Two things. One, I think we need to get rid of the business license. It's a liability. Just like you said, if they do come up with the state, and they're saying, why are you giving a license to these people? They owe us money. But two, is there anything else that needs to go into effect if they check off alcohol? I mean, extra insurance, anything like that?
We don't require any extra insurance. We've done two things so far at Council. One, you guys remember that we rescinded the open container law in the one location for the sip and stroll, rock and rollin' event. But then like Heritage Days, when they've had their beer garden or, it's typically fenced off, so, or their wine garden, so you can't go, it's controlled access and then there's no alcohol. Part of the thing too with some of these is obviously, it'll lead to the next question. So when they say we have alcohol, we'll go, well, can you give us a map with your plan so we know what you're doing? Kind of like what's already being done. This just sort of is the discussion point, so we know what we need to talk about.
And we did add the liability insurance if they are using city property as well.
Will this be online, Kate, like an online form?
Yes.
Okay.
So I try to keep it as simple as possible and try to keep it to just a two-sided sheet so that it could be either printed out at home and brought in or filled out online
Okay.
or just picked up at City Hall to be filled out. So try to keep it simple.
Thanks, Katie.
I think it looks great.
Item B, first reading of bill number 2023-018, approving a preliminary site plan for Quick Trip located at 2428 Ashley Road. It's on pages 10, 11, 12. First reading, please.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving the preliminary site plan for Quick Trip Store 0681, located at 2428 Ashley Road, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay. Thank you. Item C, Heritage Days street closure request. It's pages 14 through 20.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mary Hummel with the Chamber, and I just wanted to talk to you about the things that are basically different that we're doing this year. We are not doing a separate beer garden. It will be a wine and beer garden that will be condensed to the Hain House property. And we do have a liquor license pending, and we do have liquor insurance. So just to bring up that from before. There will be no carnival this year. We are doing a kids zone and requesting the Kemper Lawn to have a kids zone. There'll be bounce houses, a petting zoo, games, some entertainment. We'll have a Friday night movie and Saturday night, a teen night with music and games. And the craft booths that had been on Main Street last year will be on, go back to Spring Street. The car show will remain, as it always has, on 4th Street. And I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions?
The barricade request and the parking, are you going to be requesting any, like, no parking on Main Street or no?
No.
Okay. I've had a lot of complaints to us about, do not restrict parking on Main, do not, so.
No, there will be no restrictions on Main Street. It'll strictly be on the side street.
Awesome. And then the Carnival House, I love that idea. Move it to Kemper, do bounce houses, that'd be great. I think my kids will love that.
Good.
Any concerns with space at the Hain House for the combination of the two events?
No, we think we'll be okay. We're gonna be open a little longer, but we're not overly concerned about that.
So there won't be a tent then, right? It'll just
Yeah, the tent will
there
still
enough-
be,
there will be a
yes.
tent.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, that went well. Good for you.
That's what I needed.
Just for council's clarification, the chamber will put out the door knockers that you see on the, and then it will be at the next meeting on June 5th, we'll actually have the approval of all the street closures, so.
Thank you. Okay, item D, consider resolution R 2023-06, authorizing an application to the Department of Natural Resources for lead line inventory grant. It's on pages 21 and 22.
A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri authorizing and approving the filing of an application with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources State Revolving Fund Program for loans under the Missouri Clean Water Law, Chapter 640 RSMO, and providing an effective date therefore. Whereas pursuant to the terms of Missouri Clean Water Law, Chapter 640, Revised Statutes of Missouri, the state of Missouri has authorized the making of loans and/or grants to authorize applicants to aid in the construction of specific public projects. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the city administrator and the city clerk be and is hereby authorized to execute and file an application on behalf of the City of Boonville with the state of Missouri for a loan and/or grant to aid in construction of the lead service line inventory project. Section 2, that the city administrator and the city clerk are hereby authorized and directed to furnish such information as the Missouri Department of Natural Resources may reasonably request in connection with the application, which is herein authorized to sign all necessary documents on behalf of the applicant, to furnish such assurances to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources as may be required by law or regulation, and to receive payment on behalf of the applicant. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage and approval passed the 15th day of May 2023 by the City Council of Boonville, Missouri.
Is there a motion?
Mayor, make a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Whitney. Thank you, Andrew. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Calvert,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable.
Yes.
Item 9, reports of standing committees. Planning and Zoning Commission. Drew?
Yep, so it was a good meeting. Minutes are in the packet. We just went through kind of the quick trip preliminary site plan, which will definitely be a good addition, so.
Okay, good, thank you. Reports of city officials. City administrator.
Just a couple things, since we had one resolution on a grant application, you'll likely be seeing a second ordinance or resolution in the coming months. We're gonna take another run, for those who have been around here long enough, at the Economic Development Administration, Public Works and Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant. That is the organization that funded Science Hall at Kemper back in 2013. And I have been doing some phone calls with the regional officer for our area, and they are interested in us submitting an application for the extension of the YMCA childcare facility. So we'll hopefully get $1.5 million. That's what we're gonna ask for. For those of you that remember, we tried to take a crack at CDBG back, and unfortunately, they had just given out the last of their money before our application came in, so we're trying to get ahead of the game. The application is just about to be submitted, hopefully this week, and they'll consider it in June, and there'll be lots of follow-up, but hopefully we'll be successful on that. And then I also just want to circle back for those who didn't read through the memo on page 10 regarding Quick Trip. I have Miko Engineering drafting a TAP grant, which is Transportation Alternative Programs, I believe that's what it stands for, to do the sidewalk. So we are budgeting $400,000 worth of sidewalk, and because of Quick Trip extending their sidewalk, we're gonna start on that end and work our way into town, so it'll connect Quick Trip, Pilot, there'll be a crosswalk, a lighted crosswalk like we have on Main Street, the high school, and maybe a little bit further, but we'll go as far as $400,000 will get us. So that grant will be submitted shortly also. And that's all I have.
I have a short comment. I'm struggling with the committee appointments and looking for volunteers. Not from you all, because I get to put your name down, but public volunteers. And the thing that we need to do to support that is our departments need to support that. We need to do the meetings. We need to have the folks something to do if we're going to continue to do this. So I'm going to work through it a little bit better. You guys just automatically got yours. And maybe by the time I get through with it, I'll have something that's going to work. That was all I had. City Clerk?
Nothing,
Nothing?
but do we need to approve that committee appointment?
Yes, we do need a motion to approve the committee appointments.
Yeah, 'cause
It's the local agency
the
funding.
one that's highlighted, yeah. Yeah, right there.
Oh,
But yeah, he's right, we still need more.
what's the page number?
29.
29. All right, could I have a motion to approve the local agency funding people?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Carville,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable.
Yes.
Okay, miscellaneous. Any questions on the Park and Recreation Annual Report? Okay. Any questions on the Public Works Annual Report? Okay. Any questions on the City Hall Annual Report? Okay. You ready, Steve?
Yes.
Don't hurry up.
Are you ready, Si?
I don't know. Have we went to miscellaneous yet?
We already
We
passed.
already
we-
passed it.
No, we are not. We're just doing the 3 bullets that were listed in miscellaneous.
Okay.
I did have one quick one. If you're currently on a committee, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. The BHA had asked, and if we do have somebody that is asking to join a committee, I'll email you about that.
That would be good. Thank you. Appreciate it. What?
Are we ready? Motion to adjourn.
Okay, who's got second?
Second.
Thank you. We're done.